Newsmax just finishing a first-hand look inside an illegal alien facility in Donna, Texas. The heartbreaking images showing hundreds of kids laying on the floor. This comes as border officials are reportedly releasing thousands of illegal aliens into the United States without court dates or even vetting them.
Yeah, I think we're going to go to Congresswoman Kat Cammack from Florida, who, Kat, thank you so much. I'm sorry, Congresswoman Cammack, thank you so much for joining us. I do that to you all the time. I appreciate it. Right. And I understand that you have a very personal story related to this that you would like to share. Start with that, if you don't mind.
Absolutely. And good to see you, Heather. Good to see you, Steve. Listen, this issue about illegal immigration, it's not just something that's happening at our southwest border. This is something that impacts every single American in our everyday lives. You know, a month before I was set to graduate high school in 2006, one of my classmates, Amber Scott, was kidnapped and taken and robbed by an illegal immigrant who had been deported 6 times. And it ended in a terrible crash on the highway after a long police chase. And you can imagine, as an 18-year-old, what that kind of experience does to a person, but also to a small town. And it is that experience that I have really seen the dangers of sanctuary cities, the dangers when we don't enforce the laws on the books. And now I find myself as a sitting member on the Homeland Security Committee. And I think sanctuary cities, I think that the Biden administration's lack of enforcement on the border and all of these policies are encouraging individuals who aren't being properly vetted, who sometimes have ill will and bad intentions coming into our country. This is dangerous and should be a situation of concern for every single American, regardless of if you are a Republican or a Democrat. This is an American issue, and it is our national security at stake, and it impacts us in every single way we can imagine.
You know, Congresswoman Cammack, I want to ask you about that issue of sanctuary cities because, you know, I've been using the phrase, and I think it's correct, that every town is essentially a border town in the United States. This is not only a problem for the border region, they're dealing with it most acutely, but we know that most of these folks are economic migrants, but there are some bad eggs, some criminal elements that are embedded within those who are coming over. They're going to go, aren't they, Congresswoman, to sanctuary cities where they know that they can operate brazenly in the open. Isn't that correct? And won't that impact all of America, not just the border?
Absolutely. In my own family, we've had car accidents that were hit and run accidents where illegals were involved, and we end up paying the price for that. In San Francisco, we saw, of course, the tragic loss of Kate, and that inspired Kate's Law. This is a haven. These sanctuary cities are havens for illegals who are coming here to commit crimes. And when you look at how some of these folks are coming over with coyotes, 1 in 3 women is sexually assaulted. The drugs and narcotics that are coming across the border, this is being brought into our country. And if you look at just the COVID rates alone, they're 7 times higher than the national average. This is a national security problem. This is a humanitarian crisis. This is an emergency. And the administration needs to call it what it is, a crisis. And until they do that, they are not equipped to handle this situation and uphold their very first and foremost duty of the federal government, which is to protect the national security of our country.
You know, Congresswoman, I also want to ask you, because the Democrats, unfortunately, they try to position being tough on the border or insisting on controlled migration. They try to accuse us of being xenophobic or being somehow bigoted against Latin Americans. To this issue of sanctuary cities, I think exactly the opposite is the reality. Most of the time, the victims of these totally preventable crimes are Hispanic Americans, because those are the communities generally in which these criminal elements will operate. Can you speak to that issue and put to rest the fake narrative that there's something racist or prejudiced about enforcing U.S. border laws?
And absolutely. And, you know, as you can probably see, I'm standing right outside of Florida State Prison, which is the maximum security facility for the entire state of Florida. They actually house illegals here, and the crimes that they commit are against minorities. This is not something that is a white or black issue. This is something that is an American issue. And when we're talking about the security of Americans, it doesn't matter what color you are. It doesn't matter what gender you are. What matters is that you are a citizen and a taxpayer, and you believe that the government should execute the laws as they are written. It does not matter what your political affiliation is. This is a crisis. And when you talk about this being a racial issue, that's a complete farce. And that is the left trying to drive a political narrative so that they can gain points within their base. This is a national security situation, and we should be treating it as such.
Yeah, a national security situation, but yet at the same time, I was thinking of this as we were listening to some of the Border Patrol agents who were finally leading some media through some of these facilities at this point. The lack of respect and the lack of support that they are getting from this Biden administration.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And, you know, just earlier today, I was with the General Eifert from the Florida National Guard. We have members of the Florida Guard that are down on the border, and they are working day in and day out trying to assist Customs and Border Patrol in doing their jobs. But because these individuals who are coming here, some of which are on the terrorist watch list, we know this. They're coming across. They know that they have been told to stand down. This is a catch and release program, just like they had under the Obama years. This is dangerous, and we're putting our Customs and Border Patrol agents at risk. We're putting our National Guard at risk. They're looking for volunteers across all federal agencies. Yeah. This is a crisis, and it's such a shame that we are now in a situation where this administration is putting Americans last.
Yeah, and the Border Patrol
from just. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. Congresswoman Cammack, thank you so much for joining us. We just really appreciate your time. Thank you.
Hey, thank you so much. Yeah. Have a good one.
You too.
Hey, I'm Rob Finnerty. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please join the conversation in the comments below. Don't forget to subscribe, too. Hit the bell icon to be alerted to breaking news. And remember, there's a whole lot more on Newsmax TV, America's fastest growing cable news network. Newsmax TV, we're real news for real people.